What is up, squad? Welcome to episode 20 of Muscle Mastery. If you are looking to build sustainable muscle, you're not trying to look for 6-minute abs or lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. You are in it for the long haul, building your body for longevity. This is the spot for you. And today, I just want you to start off by asking yourself, are you training hard enough? And I ask that because a lot of the times, especially like untrained people, you're in the beginning stages, or maybe even if you're intermediate, you're 2, 3, maybe 5 or 6 years in, you could still be making this mistake. The thing I want to teach you guys is how to get the right intensity at the right time. How I like to train people inside of the squad is using RPE, which is rate of perceived exertion. And it's basically a scale, 1 through 10, to figure out the amount of effort that you're putting in. So I'm not even going to talk about 1 through 5. That is strictly for you're coming back from an injury or you're like brand new to working out. That's when you're really, because you don't know how hard you should push. But starting off with an RPE 6, that would be considered a warm up set. So you're able to, let's say it's chest press. You're on the bench, you're doing your dumbbells, pressing up and down. You could probably still have a conversation with the person next to you. You're getting the movement right, you're getting the feel in the muscles. That would be an RPE 6. Moving up to 7 still might be a warm up, but that last rep that you do, it's got a little emphasis behind it. Maybe that rep slows down. RPE 8, that means you got 3 left in the tank. This is when we start really noticing the effort that we have to put in, or the increased amount of effort that we have to put in. You get that last rep and you're like, man, I probably could have gotten 1 or 2 more, but I'm not sure about that third one. RPE 9, we're just building on top of it. That's 1 rep less. So you're like, you might have had 1 extra rep, but I don't think any more past that. And then RPE 10 obviously would be your maximum effort. That is you getting that PR. You can even hit PRs at an RPE 9, but getting those PRs, you're doing maximum effort. You're going all out. You might even fail this rep. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they train too easy. Those are the people that are scared when they go to the gym. They just run straight to the treadmill. They're trying to play it safe. They don't want to challenge themselves with weights. They try and stay inside their comfort zone. Or, because it happens inside of the squad too, we've got squad members that disappear. Where's my phone? We got squad members that disappear into the void. They never do workouts. They never track their meals. They're not interacting inside of the squad. And listen, I love y'all, but please come back. I want to help y'all reach your goals. Because if you disappear or if you don't challenge yourself ever, what do you expect the result to be? Besides nothing that changes, there's no adaptation in your body, so your body's not transforming and you're not making progress. So next time you go into your workout, really think about it. Are you sitting at a RPE 6 or 7 doing those warm-ups, maybe challenging yourself? You're working, you might get a little sweat, but are you really pushing yourself? Right? And pushing yourself, that's the second mistake. It's the opposite side of the scale. It's always this like one or other, this yin and yang. Like you can either be really soft in your workouts or you have to go balls to the walls. I would like to let you know that you can live right in the middle. And living right in the middle, maybe sometimes sometimes you have to challenge yourself. Sometimes you have to take it easy. But when you get yourself to that goal, right, keep yourself right in the middle. Do enough to do the work. Every couple workouts, you bump it up. Every couple workouts, you take it a little easy. On the flip side, when people are pushing themselves, they're pushing themselves to failure every single set. They're not even thinking about RPE because it's like, RPE, no, RPE, I better RPE die. That's what they're thinking every single second. Or if they're doing the classes, the super high intensity workouts, they're trying to chase exhaustion. So they're trying to be breathing heavy. They want to be shaking after that workout. They want them to be drenched in sweat. But just like how not challenging your body doesn't lead to any progress, when you push yourself that hard, at a certain point, your body just doesn't want to do it anymore. There's not enough time for it to recover before you start smashing it to bits again. And then what happens is you start building up your fatigue and you have less and less energy for the workouts that you're doing. And if we don't think about what we're doing during the workout, like starting out at that RPE 6 or 7, getting yourself warmed up as you get into the later sets, the later repetitions, you're challenging yourself. Like the worst thing that can happen is you get 1 rep or no reps and it's just too heavy. Make sure you're safe. That's why you're here learning how to lift correctly, and you just make the adjustment from there. But never challenging yourself is not going to lead to success. And always breaking your body to bits without having that recovery is also going to stall your progress. So, how should we structure our workouts if we're not trying to go too soft, but we're also not trying to kill ourselves? It's, it's really easy. Um, think about it. Think about your entire program. Hopefully, you're following a program. If not, comment recruits down below, and I want to get you 2 weeks inside of the squad. I want to like get you into a routine, get you into a program that you can actually follow that has a purpose behind it, not just random workouts. But back on track. In the early weeks of that program, you're at that RPE 6. You may jump up to an RPE 8. You might even challenge yourself with an RPE 9, but mostly you're sticking between that 6 to 8 range. You're controlling the movement. You're being very technical about how you're going through. That way, when we get to the middle of the phase, right? Now you're a couple weeks in, you know the movements, you know the workouts. Now you're starting to challenge yourself, but the same control and form that you had in weeks number 1 through whatever, that's still locked in. And now that you've been building yourself up, in the early days, it was RPE 6 to 8. Maybe in the middle of the phase, you went to an RPE 8 or 9. Maybe you tried a 10. But now we're in those last few weeks of the program. And this would be like your maximum effort. You're giving everything you've got. You're closing out strong. So you're lifting heavy. You're demanding more of your body. When I'm coaching classes, whenever we get to like the later rounds, I tell people, don't ask your body for that next rep. Make it work. Make your body lift that weight again. Make your body challenge itself so that not only you're getting stronger physically, but like mentally, you're improving your strength. And I feel like if you can get your mental strength locked in, that is going to help your progress like infinitely. It will help you like gain exponentially when you can make your mind strong enough to the point where even when you don't want to do it, you make it work. Now, those are strength training days. When we get into more conditioning, now every conditioning day, I would say you want to hover between an RPE 7 and an RPE 9. So you're breathing hard, you're pushing the pace, there's still that buildup. So you're going RPE 7, you're warming up. First couple rounds, you're at an RPE 8. Maybe you bump it up to a 9 for a couple of the moves that you're really good at. Then as we move through, you start pushing the pace, but at the same time, you're not trying to gas yourself out as soon as you feel good. You want to push that pace and then pull back just a little bit. You're at like a 7 out of 10, you bump it up to a 9 for a couple moves and you come back down to an 8. You're still managing how you're moving through the exercises and you have control over your pace. That would be the RPE guide for the conditioning workouts inside of the squad. The goal is not pain. The goal is not to kill yourself. The goal is not to be too light. But the goal is exactly like Goldilocks, to find that point where you're challenging your body, but you're not injuring yourself, and it all leads to progress. When you're doing your squad workouts or whatever workout you're doing, just check in with yourself every couple of minutes, every couple of rounds to make sure you're working at the right intensity. And if you can master RPE, like you can just think about it throughout the workout, it's like a really great tool to add to your workouts that's only going to make your training more effective. It's only going to give you more confidence inside of the gym, and it's only going to lead to you looking and living your best life. So don't just train hard, train accurately, because it's not hard, y'all. Oh my goodness. It's Simply Fitness.